122 pounds at 10.5, man. Watch the Good Fellas Sports TV, bro.
Here's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So watch
Good Fellas Sports.
Good Fellas Boxing.
All right, man. Bernard Hopkins claps back at Errol Spence. They've been going back and forth over paperwork part. So what happened was Bernard Hopkins, questioned the validity of Errol Spence detached retina. Errol Spence did report it to the commission. The commission said, he was unable to fight in Las Vegas. Bernard questioned the validity of the injury, and people said, why would he pass up on the Pacquiao fight? And Bernard and Earl hit back when Virgil had got Rabdu. And said that we need to see paperwork on Virgil, right? So a lot of people still question the validity of his detached retina because he hopped on the plane overseas. And when you have that detached retina, you put that, if it's true, he had whatever the bottom that Derek James was saying, that the altitude would have bust his air bubble, but that's between them over there, right? A lot of people saying it wasn't a detached retina, it was a blood vessel or whatever it may be, and since he had the injury, it's been less than a year. When you had that injury, that's square business. Sugar Ray Leonard came back hella faster than injury. He found out real quick that he better sit his ass down, and he came back a few years later. So it is a serious injury, and it could be a life-changing injury. It could be a career-altering injury, and it's his lead eye. Bernard Hopkins questioned whether he really had a detached retina, and that's what he was saying. And he said again, we need Bernard to show the paperwork talking about Virgil Ortiz, right? And that's fair. That's fair. When somebody question if you detached your retina, but shit, you mean like a couple months later he back, running and shit, but I tell him only time will tell. There's a lot of rumors going around saying it wasn't a detached retina, it was another eye injury. So who knows? People say, well, technology is improved. Technology ain't improved that much for a nigga eye. All right, and people said that Blair Cobb said that Virgil Ortiz was on PEDs, and that's why he, had Rabdu, whatever you're going to do, Rabdu, whatever it's called. And people started looking it up and seeing that, anabolic steroids can cause Rabdu. And then start digging more, and Virgil was enrolled in VADA or USADA or any of these clean custom programs. You have to be signed up. So, but people say, well, he's still in the WBC rankings, right? And Jamil Charlo in that Brian Custer interview revealed that they don't really enforce the testing. You basically signing up, and they don't enforce it. So they got this clean boxing drug program, and they really don't enforce testing. So a lot of them guys in that clean boxing program they don't even be testing. Think about it. Canelo got popped and didn't have to test during his suspension. Come on, these dudes, you gotta pay for testing year round, and that costs a lot of money. So that's square game. So people are, saying that Virgil owns something now. So they need to see the paperwork, right? Even if they do catch, or if he do tell the doctor that he was taking this, that, and the third. Even if you do tell the doctor that, it's sealed. His medical records are sealed. But nonetheless, Bernard came back. He clapped back with some shade. He said that Errol Spence was suspect. That's what he said. He said he wished him the best in his fight, but he said he's suspect. You know, he's still saying that the injury was suspect. And he said it's on Fight Hype. He don't have to show his hand. He said I never show my hand. So he's saying I don't have to show you the paperwork. Who are you? But he said, you still suspect. Insinuating that the injury wasn't real, or it might have been something else, or you still sus. You know, he called him suspect, not for dancing and kissing on Yellow Beezy, because he still don't believe the eye injury was real, and Bernard must have heard something. And I heard things leaking out from Texas too that it necessarily wasn't a detached retina. Now it could be shit, you know what I'm saying? It could be, but shit, when you 2 months later and you on a flight to Dubai, wherever he's going to, come on. But then people say, well, that's why this Ugas fight ain't in Vegas, because they won't clear him over detached retina. Who knows? Vegas got the most real stringent, whatever, commission. They helping Tyson Fury get licensed in the UK after all that he went through. But that's for him. That's for him to know. Because that's hard. That's hard for that to happen in sparring, unless you sparring without headgear. But shit happens. Stuff happens. Did it happen in sparring? Did it happen somewhere else? Because if you look at some of his up close pictures, that lead, and this is lead eye. That lead eye's always looked a little funny. We got one leg longer than the other leg. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes one arm longer than the other arm. Sometimes one eye is wider than the other eye. But if you look at the eyes, always kind of like a little bit different. You know, but so I always kind of like notice that. And most of our stuff like that, it's just saying it's noticeable because he's taking punishment on him. So the most concerning thing about it is it's his lead eye. That's the most concerning thing about it. It's the eye that he lead off with. But a lot of people say, well, Bernard should be hating on another black man, saying this, saying that. Like I told y'all, it ain't no code in boxing. Ain't no black code in boxing, bro. We don't stay on code. So I don't want to hear that. He's just going after Errol Spence. Maybe he heard something. Errol Spence still ain't showed his paperwork. I see it's Errol Spence, but here go my paperwork for my eye. Now let's see virtual paperwork. Now then I'm okay. Or Bernard was like, here go my paperwork. He'll pay virtual paperwork. Let's see Errol paperwork. But all that is confidential. But he go on here questioning the validity of his injury. If Bernard heard something, he heard it. Now, I prefer for him to keep, that, to himself. You prefer that. Keep it to himself. If Earl didn't really injure this eye, that's between Earl and everybody else and God and everybody else he over there with. Some people say, well, he injured his eye in a car accident. Or Danny Garcia injured his eye. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't find it until this, that, and the third. Hey, it's good that he went to the hospital. Because something happened with that eye to stop the Pacquiao fight. And people say, well, why would he be ducking the biggest payday of his career? Only reason I could think he didn't want that fight. He just wasn't on weight. And think about it. And all of a sudden, he bring in Declan Welsh. He might not have been on weight. That's the only valid reason or any reason I can see why. It was some sparring footage of the Pacquiao clone tearing him up. Remember that? They leaked that footage? Think about that. Fox leaked that footage. And it was the footage right before his eye injury of a Pacquiao clone beating him up. Remember Keith Thurman was talking about it, like we all seen it, you know. And maybe he wasn't prepared. Maybe he physically wasn't prepared to do so. Because old boy was in the short footage, old boy was tagging him at will. And some people said, well, that's where the eye injury happened at. Who knows? But for me, it's hard to get that attached retina if you sparring with headgear on. That's tough. And that had to be a complete freak accident unless he's sparring without headgear on. And some people do. And even though that Pacquiao clone was getting the best of him, that Pacquiao that got in the ring with Dennis Ugas would have been roadkill for Errol Spence. So, absolute roadkill. So, that is what it is. Menard called him a suspect. Still say he's suspect. And he said that he still wish him nothing but the best. So thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, screeches, notifications. We go live and drop a video. Check out the Box News playlist. Want to financially support the channel? Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the Linktree link. You find me everywhere on social media. I'm producing content from Twitter, Twitch to Spotify, a few more. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Peace.